Today we're doing the Nakasendo Trail.
It's a route between Tokyo and Kyoto that people used in the olden days. Now it's just for hiking. It goes through the countryside and picturesque old post towns, which are gorgeous. We're doing the most popular section between Magome and Tsumago, which is 8 kilometers long and takes about 3 hours.
We just took the train from Nagoya. We're doing the trail as a day trip from Nagoya. We took the Shinano Limited Express train. It took about 50 minutes on the train from Nagoya to Nakatsugawa, and now we're going to take a bus over to Magome. It's bus stop number 3 at the bus stops behind me. We're doing the most popular section of the trail from Magome to Tsumago, which is the part that most people do, and that is doable as a day trip. The complete trail is an old road that goes between Kyoto and Tokyo, so it takes several days to do the whole thing.
This trip was covered by my regional rail pass, the Alpine Takayama Matsumoto area pass, which is 24,000 yen for 5 days and includes Takayama and the Tateyama Kurobe Alpine routes, which are both coming up in my videos. Thank you to Japan Railways, JR Central, for providing our rail passes. This pass is only available from mid-April to mid-November when the Alpine routes open. If you have any questions, just ask in the comments.
We just arrived at Nakatsugawa Station for the Nakasendo Trail, and there's a stamp. An old stone, an old building. Just spotted another stamp at Nakatsugawa Station. It looks like some sort of stamp rally. Cute. It looks like a Gudetama face, doesn't it? As you can see, it's a rainy day today, but we didn't have any choice about which day we do this on, so we're going to make the best of it anyway. It's already here. Here's the bus to Magome. It's about once an hour. At the moment it's 1/4 the hour, but check the timetable in case that changes.
The bus takes you even further into the countryside, going uphill. I love the views from the bus of small villages and rice fields. Can't get enough of those rice fields.
We just got off the bus at Magome and look at this view of the rice fields. I love seeing them on the way when they're all filled up with water. The bus took about 25 minutes from Nakatsugawa Station, and Magome is the last stop. There were several other people coming to do the Nakasendo Trail, so it was really obvious where to get off. It costs 800 yen each and it's cash only. When you get on the bus, you pick up one of the little paper tickets and there's a screen at the front that tells you how much the price is. It goes up the further you go, and then you pay the driver at the end. There are bathrooms right here by the bus station, straight away when you arrive. Here's a sign to Magome-juku, Post Town Lower Entrance. That way. Here at the Tourist Information Centre, it says they got luggage storage and transportation. We've taken over the luggage storage at the Magome Tourist Information Centre. These are pretty, all lit up. And they've got a sake vending machine. That's the way to get the hike off to a good start. Oh, there's some stamps on the table here at the tourist centre. It's 2 different ones. Magome-juku base camp. Similar. Are they different ones? Let's collect them all. There's a nice bonsai here at the tourist centre. Baggage storage is 500 yen per item. They're open 9 till 4:30. We've come to see why this thing was pumping out water. I'm guessing this sign explains it. Hydroelectric. Yeah. So it's creating power. Oh wow.
The sign says even this small power system reduces CO2 emissions by 2,500 kilograms per year, equivalent to 160 square metre forest. It's really good they can generate their own electricity in this remote location.
We're starting off uphill into Magome. First, we're going to get some lunch here before we start towards Tsumago.
Already, Magome-juku is really pretty. Magome and Tsumago are both really small villages in the countryside. Every building is traditional Japanese style. It's like going back in time. So many nice views every direction you look. And it's nice hearing the sound of rushing water from these streams going down to the water wheel, although the path itself is a bit like a waterfall today. The benefit of a rainy day was it was so quiet on the trail. If you've been at a different time of year or during nicer weather, tell me what it was like in the comments. There are quite a few cafes along here and places to get snacks.
And there are some guest houses too if you want to stay overnight. Oh, here's one, Yanagiya Guest House. Kakigori, manju. We just popped into this restaurant for lunch. It's called Mikazukian. On Google Maps it says Zuki with a Z, but in the window it's got a picture of a moon because Suki with a TS means moon in Japanese. There's all sorts of hot and cold soba noodles. I'm going to have this one, cold soba with 7 kinds of vegetable tempura. They've also got curry soba, wagyu soba with wagyu beef. When we came in, we got a cup of cold barley tea. There's all these Japanese whiskies on the bar. Look how fancy this one is. It's got an embroidered label. There's also fresh umeshu, plum wine, and craft beer on tap. Phil's got the duck soba. It comes with cold soba noodles and hot broth with duck to dip it in. They gave us some yuzu kosho, which is spicy citrus paste. Here's my vegetable tempura. It's like an interesting one. There's some pumpkin, some beans, some aubergine, and here's my soba noodles. On the table there's some salt and looks like sashimi, spicy.
Vegetarians, I messed up ordering. I meant to get the cold version of this dish without the broth, which contains fish stock. It would have been rude to make a fuss about it, especially as they just cooked it fresh right in front of me. Anyway, I'm not usually that into soba, but these were the best quality soba noodles I've had, with such a good texture.
They just brought over the soba yu for Phil, which is the water the soba was cooked in. It's supposed to be really healthy. When you're done eating, you put your leftover broth together with the soba yu and drink it to finish off your meal. The pumpkin tempura is massive. This is really crisp and crunchy. Right now it's the very start of June on a Tuesday afternoon. I did expect it to be way busier than this, and I'm sure it is when it's nicer weather. It's not particularly a quiet time of year to come to Japan, but in high tourist season or the holidays in Japan, I'm sure there'll be loads of people here. So that's one benefit of a rainy day. We get the place almost to ourselves. Also, I don't know if these little rivers are always raging this much. Obviously, they always power the water wheel, but on a rainy day, they must be a bit more full than usual. It's really nice hearing the sound of the water. The last couple of days we've been in Tokyo and staying in Shinjuku, and this really does feel like the opposite. It's so nice to come out somewhere a lot quieter, more relaxed, hear the water, see all the nature around you.
It's a small town, basically just this street, but there are lots of restaurants, cafes and souvenir shops. We were fascinated by the waterways.
Phil's just made a good point. This water wheel's being powered by this. How is the water getting up there? Is it the force of the water running down from there?
I think it must have its own pipe from way up there.
Look at these bamboo channels. So the water comes along the bamboo, it can go in here, and they can open up this slot to fill the pond behind, or they can have it going down here towards the water wheels. I don't know if this is the old tourist information centre. It said at that building at the start that they'd moved the luggage service, but this is also a tourist information centre, so they've got hiking sticks and there's bathrooms in there too. It's 270 metres more of Magome-juku to go, and it's 380 metres that way, so it's quite a small town.
180 metres. What, an hour?
We have had lunch though. Progress is not good so far.
Way to go.
Oh, these are cute little birds. I wonder what they are. There's a mini water wheel and a big fish in there. Ah, this is a guest house. That would be a really lovely place to stay. And then you get to be here in the evening after everyone's gone home. It looks so misty in the hills down there. After coming to Japan in February and March the last couple of times, it's really nice to come in at a time of year when there's greenery and flowers. It looks really lush. I think for a lot of people this is like a dream of historic Japan with all these old buildings, and it's just so picturesque everywhere you look. You could spend ages taking photos around here. There's some fishes in the pond, and look, the gutters are just draining out into the pond. I wonder what this log's here for. It's for opening a bottle of ramen. I didn't know if there'd be any vending machines here because there aren't any convenience stores or anything like that, but there are some. And there's a notice about the swallows that are building nests around here. They're really cute. What a nice garden. So picturesque. Here we go. Heading out of Magome onto the trail towards Tsumago. I heard this is the better way round to do it because you've got steep up the hill to start with, and then after that it's shallow downhill for the rest of the way. The path's got a little more cobbled now. It was quite smooth before. Oh good, there's a signpost. 7.6 kilometres to go. It does make it look all mysterious. There's some steps here. It's not a very accessible route. It is all paved, so it's not like hiking through actual nature. but it is a bit uneven. There's a massive puddle coming up. Luckily I've got waterproof shoes, but Phil hasn't. Not sure how we're going to navigate this one. Good luck, Phil. Go tiptoes.
1, 2, 3. Oh no, oh no. Oh, no. We're in.
We're coming towards some bamboo and there's a sign that there might be wild bears. I just remembered they exist. Let's hope we don't see any. We really are in the forest now. With these cobblestones, you can't make particularly quick progress. They're not the quickest thing to walk on. I knew there could be bears here, but I didn't think they'd particularly be a problem because this is the most popular part of the trail, so I figured there'd be a lot of other people around to scare them away. But it's pretty quiet here today. We do generally walk quite quickly, but we're making quite slow progress because of the cobblestones and also those really uneven steps because it's wet. It's not really slippery, but I keep thinking, what if it is going to be slippery and I slip down? I'm always a bit of a baby with steps and slopes, especially when it seems like it might be slippery. So we're going to try and make a bit of progress now it's flatter. There have been a good amount of signposts along the way and it tells you how far you've got to go. So far there hasn't been any danger of getting lost. There's a bear bell to scare bears away.
Go away.
Go away, bears. Don't come too close. Ooh. It's quite hard figuring out how to navigate some of these big puddles. There's a little water wheel along the way. Must be a nice rest stop. We are getting a bit hot from all that climbing the stairs. Another bear bell. You may go through to Magome-juku. I have no responsibility for your disappointment. Have a nice day. Enjoy Nakasendo. They come inside by only sophisticated person. And there's 3 hiking poles. That's nice of them. We're going to carry on to Tsumago because we're making quite slow progress so far. That bit was quite steep. We are so unfit. Let's hope it levels off soon. It seems like some people live along here. They look like people's houses with their cars in the drives. Look, we're just entering Nagano Prefecture. We've gone out of Gifu into Nagano. There's a free tea room. I can smell the smoke coming out of there. On the blackboard it says all the countries that people have come from. There's some bathrooms across the road here too. We've done 3 kilometres and we've got 4.7 kilometres to go this way. The path's less paved through these forest sections. I keep looking into the forest and thinking I've seen a shadow. Is it a bear? But we haven't seen any so far, thank goodness. The water's really rushing here. It's a nice stream. We have seen other people on the trail, but most of the time we've been walking along just by ourselves, which isn't great for the bears. I think it is busier when the weather's nicer. I heard from other people that they were walking along with other people the whole way on this popular section, and you'd need to do another section of the Nakasendo to have the place to yourselves. Ooh. Oh, there's another bear bell here. You're gonna have to do that, Phil. Some more bathrooms along the route. This bridge looks brand new. Can you see the waterfall across there? We were walking along by the road for a little bit and now we've come up this slope. The word juku in the place names means post town. So it was the same thing in Shinjuku. Shin means new. So that was new post town. And Harajuku, look at all the rushing water. I love this. I can't help thinking we're ringing these bells to tell the bears it's dinner time. It's so misty up there. Isn't it a bit mysterious? A little waterfall. We're quite high up now. If you want to, you can do a detour to the Odaki Medaki waterfalls down that way. Here's a map of the trails around the waterfall. And it is a bit scary. There's so many bear bells in this section. Look how tall this bamboo is. Massive. We're coming up to a few houses. This isn't Tsumago yet. It's just some little houses dotted along the route. Can you imagine living here? Kind of in the middle of nowhere. It must be so strange in such a historic traditional house. We've got 2.7 kilometres to go, so we've done about 2/3 so far. That's where the path goes, down there through the woods. There's a little drinking fountain of drinkable water here. That's good. Stay hydrated. Today it's only about 17 degrees C, and we're actually really hot walking along, so I can imagine doing this walk in the summer. You'd be really hot. So bring plenty of water with you. This does remind me a bit of Mount Takao because you're walking through the woodlands with the stream running beside you. That's a really good day out from Tokyo. There's a video about it on my channel. Look, someone's got ducks in their garden. I would love it if a duck came and lived in my pond. There's just a few houses here. We're not at Tsumago yet. What a nice place to live by the river. The river's really wide now. Look at those huge boulders. Still so misty in the distance. You can probably see further on a clear day. Lots more boulders down there. An abandoned van by the look of it. Oh wow, that's a massive one. We were just saying we wish there were more rice fields along the route. There were some stunning rice fields and landscapes that we saw from the bus on the way up to Magome, but we hadn't really seen any along the trail. You can hear the river still rushing down there. But here's some rice fields coming up. It's really pretty actually with the ripples from the rain. Looks like we've made it. We're coming up to the entrance of Tsumago. That's a nice view over here too. This is definitely a good place to come if you want to see more of rural Japan. How different is this from Shibuya? The tanuki welcomes us to Tsumago. These wooden houses look so dark. Here's a map of Tsumago. We're up there by the bridge with the red sign. Wow, that water's really raging. Wow, that's so loud. Feel the power of the water. There's a water power plant up there, so that's what that must be. Looks like we're the only ones here. Oh, there's a little shrine up there. It's like a ghost town at the moment. I'm sure it's full up with people at other times when it's nice weather. It says the right angle street was built to slow down the invasion of enemies as much as possible. Could this be the stone from the stamp I got in Nakatsugawa? So you can either get a bus to Nagiso or you can carry on walking. It's 3.8 kilometers this way. There are taxi ranks as well if you're done walking. The buses aren't that frequent. The hydrangeas are out. They're a symbol of rainy season in Japan. We're at the tourist information office in Tsumago and there's a stamp to prove that we made it along the Nakasendo Trail. I don't think it's one of those layered ones. Oh, that did not come out well. If I try it again, do you think it would?
Good luck, Mike.
That will be a complete mess, probably. This is not going to go well. Oh no, it's even worse. There we are, that looks nice. And a nice cat in red. Let's cover up that one. Right now it's 10 to 5 and a lot of things are closed in Tsumago. We were hoping to go to a cafe or try some of the local snacks here, but all the cafes and restaurants are shut. We were planning to walk the extra 2 miles to Nagiso Station to get the train back to Nagoya. There is also a bus. The timing hasn't worked out that great with the bus. The next one's at 5:40 and as nothing's open here, we thought we'll get a taxi to the station and maybe there's a cafe or something open in Nagiso. We just popped into the tourist information office. They checked the bus times and gave us information about taxis and they were really helpful. He spoke English in there as well. Well, this looks like it'd be a wisteria. That comes out a bit earlier in the year. It's all lilac.
The taxi was 1,700 yen for the 6-minute drive to the station. I don't usually take taxis in Japan, but the driver was really friendly and enjoyed practicing his English.
Look, there's a station cat here at Nagiso Station. 2 tickets please. Meow. Looks like they've been having some milk. We're at Nagiso Station and there's a stamp. It's another one in the stamp rally I found earlier at Nakatsugawa Station. This time it's a different lady, so I'll put it on the same page. Here we are, where all the restaurants are. You can eat delicious eel. So that was the Nakasendo Trail, not the whole thing, just the Magome to Tsumago section. It would definitely be more enjoyable on a nice day, but the benefit of the rainy day today is there were hardly any other people there. I think along the trail we saw a maximum of 10 people probably, and there were so many sections when we were walking and there was no one else in sight at all, which was really nice. And tell me in the comments if you've been when the weather's nicer or at a different time of year, what it was like. I really enjoyed looking around Magome at the start. It's such a pretty picturesque town. There's lots of places to eat there, lots of little shops, and we both really loved seeing
seeing how the water was running in channels around the town and all the water wheels and how people had used it for their ponds and everything. That was really lovely. And if you like taking photos, you could spend a long time there. Everywhere you looked is just beautiful. I think it is like a dream of historic Japan. It took us about 3 hours in total of walking to do the trail, and then we spent a bit of time in the restaurant as well, which is what they say it's supposed to take. It's not a difficult walk. If you start at Magome, there is some uphill to start with, and it feels a little bit strenuous. We were a little bit worn out, but then you can recover really quickly, and there are lots of downhill bits too. Some of it's paved, there are steps. Some of it is a little bit muddy trails, but it's not a full-on country hike or anything like that. It is quite easy overall. Not super easy, but it's not difficult. If it's raining, definitely be prepared for the weather. You need waterproof shoes, and either an umbrella or a raincoat or a waterproof jacket would probably be better, because the rain comes from all angles. It was a bit windy, we had a bit of trouble with the umbrellas at one point. It would be better if you started earlier in the day as well. We came from Tokyo this morning. We took the Shinkansen from Tokyo about 9 a.m. and then we got every train as quickly as we could to get here. By the time we got to Tsumago, most things were closed. I had been planning to have more of a look around Tsumago and try some of the local snacks. There's the local gohe mochi, but everything was just closed by the time we got there, so it would be better to start off earlier in the day. But it is definitely doable as a day trip from Nagoya. It was really pretty around Magome. The walk kind of reminded me of Mount Takao because it was through the forest, and I really enjoyed the trip up on the bus as we came out of the city in Nakatsugawa and started going uphill through the countryside, and we saw lots of terraced rice fields. That was really good too. I think probably a lot of people who want to see traditional Japan would go to Kyoto, where it's really crowded, but here you can see the real thing. Not that Kyoto isn't real, but I think it's like everything you want from historic traditional Japan is here, I reckon. So this would be a really good option. So now from Nagiso Station, we're going to take the JR Shinano train, which goes directly back to Nagoya. Not all the trains are direct. Sometimes you have to take a train back to Nakatsugawa Station, which is the station we got to earlier, and then a train from there back to Nagoya. But we're lucky with the train times, we can take the express train directly back to Nagoya. When you're outside Tokyo, I'd recommend using the Japan Travel by Navitime app for train times. It gives better results than Google. The direct train takes 1 hour 15 minutes back to Nagoya. You can also do this as a day trip from Matsumoto. If you take the Shinano train, it takes about 1 hour 20 minutes to get to Nakatsugawa Station, where we took the bus to Magome. Other trains do take a lot longer, so look up the times for that Shinano express train. If you want to see my hotel in Nagoya, that's in my previous video, the JR Gate Tower Hotel, which is right at the station. And there'll be more coming up from central Japan as we move on to Takayama. There's new videos on my channel every Thursday. I'll see you then.